Ever since the outbreak of COVID-19 earlier this year, it's been something that I've never seen on this scale before, the outpouring of public attention and discussion around consumption of wildlife. I mean, from all the comments on social media, people doing little mini campaigns with posters saying ending wildlife consumption all over the place. What he was talking about it, the government was issuing statements on it, it seemed almost daily. And there was really this clear understanding that we need to revise and update our regulations and our relationships with nature and wildlife consumption. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding globally around the consumption of wildlife in China. For one, wildlife consumption happens in every country in the world. It's far from being just a China problem, right? We all consume wildlife in some form or another. And the sales of wildlife, live markets, live sales of wildlife also happen all over the world. And so it's definitely far from a China problem. But I mean, I think we saw with the outbreak of this disease that China acted incredibly fast to close down all sales of wildlife. And that's highly commendable, and China is working on updating its policies and regulations around this consumption. But again, by China taking such strong action on this, it's not going to solve the problem because, like I said, it happens all over the world. We really need a global movement to reevaluate our relationship with wildlife consumption. We need to see these live sales close down across the world. A major challenge is that the industry around wildlife consumption is so vast and varied, and it involves tens of billions of dollars annually worth of production and consumption. Millions of people's jobs and livelihoods are involved, and it's hundreds of different species of wildlife that are traded, captively bred in some form or another. And so it's really it's a vast system. There's no easy answer to really improving in a quick way, right? And then there's also, there's a lot of public, I guess you could say confusion, right? On which species are legal, which species are illegal, which are endangered, which are not endangered, which might be considered safe to consume, which have health risks. I mean, because it's such a vast system and vast industry, that there's a lot of uncertainty. But I think that's some of the issues that are being addressed right now in revising the wildlife protection law and some of the other regulations that I think we're going to see coming up soon. I see the biggest change to the wildlife protection law after these upcoming revisions will be clarity on which species of wildlife can be consumed as food. Right? Currently, all wildlife there's a ban on all of it right now until these regulations come out, but there will be a clarified list that states which wildlife can be consumed as food, and that will be big. But I mean, I think there's also going to be other points of emphasis on wildlife. I think there will be calls for greater public awareness campaigns on wildlife, because you can't just expect new policy to shape, to solve the problem, right? There also needs to be a public awareness and understanding of these issues. Like everything in China, there have been really, really tremendous changes towards the public attitude towards the environment and wildlife consumption, and policy and regulations and discussion around these issues. I mean, again, this is not just the environment that we see big changes on. I mean, everything in the last 15 years has changed. All segments of society have changed tremendously, and wildlife is no exception. But we've really seen a much stronger increase in enforcement of, combating illegal trade in wildlife products. More and more people are aware of both the dangers to public health and to wildlife populations sometimes of consuming wildlife products. So more and more people are aware of these issues, and there's just more discussion, more stronger enforcement, and better policy and regulations coming out in the last 15 years.